Well, Cameron, we've talked a little bit about acids and bases, and we're going to do a little activity here looking at some different acids and bases using something called universal indicator. And you look at this, it's kind of a brownish, not anything too exciting liquid, right? Yellowish. But universal indicator is interesting because as it comes in contact with substances with different pHs, different strengths of acids, strengths of bases, it'll change color. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you just kind of pour it carefully, but go ahead and start pouring a little bit into our containers there. Fill them up to about that 80 milliliter mark. Go ahead, fill it up about to that line up there close to the top. Let's just watch what happens to the universal indicator. So what do you notice right away?
It's changing color.
Yeah, it's changing colors, and each one's a little bit different, right?
Yes.
Okay, you can come around to this side if you need to get to it. All right, we'll slip the rest of that over here. So what we have, now some of them are pretty close to the same color, but we've got shades of green, kind of a yellowish over there, yellowish green. And of course we've got our color we started out with here, blues, purples. But basically the way that a universal indicator works, the pH scale goes from 1 up to 14, with 14 being your strongest base and 1 being your strongest acid. And basically this will measure that range, and anything as it goes towards the red color, it's going to be an acid. And as it goes towards the really deep purple color, it's a base. And kind of everywhere in between, the greens are very close to a neutral pH, which would be about 7. So we had a little bit of liquid already in here. They weren't empty beakers. You had a little something in there when we started pouring. But each one changes color based on the pH of the chemical that was in the beaker with it. We had things like, some of these are just called buffer solutions. They're made to be a certain pH. This is a pH 7 buffer solution. We had like a pH 1 and a 4 and a 10 and different buffer solutions. And there are also things like egg yolk, which is a base, peroxide, which is a little bit acidic. So we have a nice range of colors based on the pH of the liquids that are in there. What I'd like to do next though, let's go ahead and if you just want to kind of move them, we don't need to move them all the way off, but if you just kind of move those down towards the end there. And we're just going to kind of play around with it a little bit, but we've got some more liquids here. And we said that if it's an acid, it'll turn what color?
Yellow, reddish.
Okay, so your acids turn yellow. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have you go ahead. I've got a new flask here. Fill both of these up to about that 300 milliliter mark. And I'm just going to let you pour those in and tell me which of these is an acid and which one's a base. All right, so which of these would be our acid, Cameron?
This one.
Yeah, because it turned red, right? So universal indicator is very helpful if you have a liquid and you don't know what the pH is. That universal indicator will tell you. And it can also make for kind of some interesting color changing demonstrations, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to have you pour a little bit of our base, and this base happens to be ammonia, and I'm using vinegar as my acid. So nothing that's going to hurt us or burn us or anything, but I'm going to have you pour a little bit of the base in here while I pour the acid, and let's just see what happens. Go ahead and make sure it pours out the spout there. Let's just watch what happens. As they pour together, they're turning kind of a mix of colors, right? You can stop pouring. So now it's kind of blue, so maybe not as strong of an acid. And as we add a little more red, you can see it's starting to turn green and then orange and then more of a red. If you add more of the base, okay, it's going to neutralize it, start turning it green. Add just a little bit at a time, see if we can get it a nice green color. Let's try that. That's good. Okay, so now it's a green color, meaning it's pretty well neutralized. If you keep adding some base to it, the pH is going to shift lower. So go ahead and do that, and let's watch what happens to our liquid. All right, so now it's turned back to the purple color. So we're able to, using liquids with different pHs, we're able to neutralize acids, we're able to neutralize bases, we're able to turn an alkaline liquid like the ammonia, we're able to turn it acidic by putting more vinegar in it, or by putting more ammonia we can turn it more acidic. So the universal indicator just lets us know when that change, that chemical change of these reacting together has taken place.